spiel. Let me ask you a question. How can a homeless man, a man who has no place to live, um, a beggar in every place that he is, and that same homeless man sees another man being evicted from his house, another man being oppressed, another man being beaten, killed, and then decide that as a homeless man, he is going to become an advocate for that man who he sees now being homeless. He decides to become the mouthpiece of this stranger, this person he doesn't know, this person who doesn't know him. And at the end of the day, when he becomes an advocate for that individual, and if and when that person does get their home back, that same homeless man will remain homeless. In fact, the individual he advocated for will never think about him. The individual that he broke allegiances for will never do anything for him. That is the state and the plight of the African American who decides that he has to be a mouthpiece for Palestine. He is a homeless man who is now advocating for another man who will be homeless. Yet his cries for that stranger will not reap him any benefits whatsoever. This is my analogy of why the African American cannot spend any time truly focusing on what is taking place between Gaza and Israel, between the Palestinian and Israel. The Palestinian has a homeland. He knows where it is. He knows what it is. He has a government. The Palestinian has fought for his homeland. They have referred to him as a rebel or a terrorist when he has fought for his own land. Imagine being referred to as a terrorist when you fight for your own land. And but that is the plight of his situation. That is his situation. That is his problem. That is his circumstance. He currently is in a desperate attempt fighting against a Western colonizer who calls themselves Israel, and is participant in the military industrial complex of economic return that takes place when America goes to war. America makes money. That's why it's called an military industrial complex. America's economy used to be primarily based on warfare and acquisition of some kind, but now it's not just acquisition. It actually works within the context of their economy. The economy works better when America's at war. America produces more goods. Their GDP goes up. The stock market is more healthy. America is actually in a better financial, economic position when it is waging war on a massive scale. And it has realized this and continues this recipe. And that is what America has built itself with and on. However, as I'm saying this, Israel, an extension of America in the Middle East, the colonizer in the Middle East, the individual who perpetrates independence but is no more independent than Robin was from Batman. They also benefit from this industrial complex, reaping billions of dollars from America simply to develop their weapons and their particular technology of weaponry. And now they are utilizing it as an example against the Gazans or the Palestinians. Again, going back to the original concept though, how and why can a homeless man, a man with no homeland, this is a homeless man, the African American, you are a man with no homeland, the African American woman, you are an individual with no homeland. Why on earth, how on earth could you be focused on Gaza and Israel to the point that you have stopped realizing how homeless you are? Salute to everybody. Hello, Daniel Burry, Sports Highlights, Marshall, salute to you. Listen to me. This is not a matter of insensitivity. It is not. If my child is hungry, it is the responsibility of me as a parent to make sure that my child eats. I can say that your child that is just located just across the street from me, being hungry, is less of a priority to me because my child is hungry. As much as I am empathetic, sympathetic, and want to help you, my first responsibility is to feed my child. It is not me saying that your child does not deserve to eat. It is not me saying that your child does not deserve the mercy and all these things. That's not insensitivity. It is just focusing on the fact that my child is hungry. The African American has lost his way in understanding that what has taken place upon you is that, and let me do it in reverse for you. It has always been expected by the colonizer who has taken control of your life and your ancestors. It has always been expected that some way along the line you will realize who you are, what you are, and you will rise up, organize, and take over the country. It happens all the time. It is a very common practice. It does not take a prophet to figure it out. It doesn't take a magician to do it. It is what happens. The colonized rise up, organize themselves, and they become independent. Do we not know what Ghana is? Do we not know what Kwame Nkrumah did in Ghana? Where he said, it's okay, it's enough is enough. We're going to need you colonizers to leave us alone. Even though you have been taken away from your homeland and put somewhere else. Did not Trinidad and Tobago do this? Did not Haiti do this? Okay, enough is enough. We no longer will allow you to run our country. We decide to be alone. We decide to be independent of you. We decide to, let you look at what is happening here and you realize you are no longer welcome. We will run it by ourselves. Is this not what Namibia has did with the German? Is this not what Congo did with the Belgians? This is what history shows us happened. It happens all the time. It takes place all the time. So the expectation of the colonizer is that the black man and the black woman in America, especially seeing what was taking place in the 60s, and seeing the type of leadership that you had, especially seeing that they said, yes, these people will eventually organize themselves and they will eventually rise up and they will eventually be a force to be reckoned with, and we will have to surrender these things to them. And what we will do is we will do what all of the other colonizers did, is we will go back into our own place and we will realize that we've reaped the benefits for so many years. We're rich now, and we will do our own thing. However, the white man in America decided he's not going back to England, he's not going back to France, he's not going back to Ireland, he's not going back to the Netherlands, he's not going back to Germany, he's not going back to Italy, he's not going back to Iceland, he's staying, and he has nowhere to go back. And therefore, he cannot allow you to stand up. He cannot allow you to straighten your back and to declare that you are an independent entity and that you are a true people. No, he could not do that. So the propaganda of your Americanism could never stop. You must have been engrafted into the American culture so that you are now given your piece of the American pie. They said we have to decide strategically who we give it to. Also, while we are giving some of them a piece of the American pie, we have to also make them incapable of self-leadership. We have to make them at odds with each other. We have to turn them into ops. How do we do this? We create a system whereby it must be dog eat dog. We give different groups of them. We start a cold war. You have a gang over here using one color and a gang over here using another color. We separate them. We make them have to struggle and fight for the same customer in their own block. We make sure that we poison the next generation, and not just poison them with drugs, and not just poison them with alcohol. We poison them with the mentality that they can live an alternative lifestyle. We poison them with the mentality that even going down to the very comedians, every one of them will fight. We need them to always be at odds with each other, whether it's a video game, whether it's a basketball team. We always need them to fight. We don't want them to work together. We don't want them to see them as brothers. We need to do what we did to the Tutsis and what we did to all of those Africans, that we created those lines and said, you are different, you are Bantu and you are Nilotic. We must keep these people at each other's throats perpetually, leave them in a cold war that will never end, and they will be so focused on their own independence, on their own financial prosperity. They'll be so focused on their own fame. They'll be so focused on their own individual shiny little trophies, their own championships, their own little Grammy Awards, their own little radio stations, their own little television shows, that they will never rise up and be a nation. Never. They will never rise up and be a nation. They will never say, I am my brother's keeper. Never. And so the oxymoronic aspect of those people, those same people at each other's throats every single day. Those same people drawing lines in the sand, whether it's the Bloods and the Crips or the Bulls and the Lakers, it's still a gang. Whether it's LeBron versus Michael Jordan, it's still a gang. It's still ops. It's still at each other's throat. It's still the incapacity to see each other as a united front, capable of actually running a country. No, we can't put them in that position. And so you now, because it is part of your actual makeup, it is part of what you've been through, you now look to Palestine and say, hey, my heart hurts for you, man. I see that. We went through something similar. Yeah, bro, we went through something similar. And I can't even support Israel watching what's going through your head. I know I'm a Christian. I know I'm a Hebrew Israelite. I know I'm a Muslim. But I can't support what they're doing to you. I can't support it. And while you can't support it, you can't even support yourself. Isn't it crazy though? Isn't it mad that somebody is out here, attempting to make sure everybody owns a car, but you're taking the bus? It's insane to me. It's insanity. And as I see myself falling into the vortex of concern of what is taking place in Gaza, and then all of a sudden South Africa speaks. South Africa stands up and begins to speak, and I said to myself, wow, look at South Africa. Look at the South Africa suing Israel, and now deciding we're not just going to sue Israel, we're going to sue America. And people say, oh my gosh, is South Africa crazy? They're trying to break ties with America. What are they going to do? South Africa's a first world nation. The South African black man says, I have a homeland. The South African says, I have my own allegiances. I have my own deals cut. I'm tight with Russia. I'm tight with China. And this is where the American propaganda will spin. American propaganda is going to spin and say, those Africans are really communists. They can't say that anymore, because calling somebody a communist, you can't say that anymore. Those Africans, they're just under the puppeteerism of Putin. You can't say it anymore. You can't connect the African to the Russian, because Putin has kept that relationship underground. So all you can do is take it. Peace and blessings to you, Miss Ann. All you can do is take it. All you can do is sit back and watch the unveiling of clear and concise and specific evidence coming out of the mouth of the prime minister, out of the mouth of the leaders, out of the mouth of the soldiers. All you can do is sit back and watch the truth. All you can do is swallow down and say, well, I guess what they're saying is true, but it's very difficult to sit and to watch and to listen to what is taking place and not some way say, my God, this looks like genocide for real. And the South African firsthand says, I know what genocide looks like. It looks like this. It looks like this. You know what? Kyrie and the Book of Negroes and all these things were trying to show people that people were trying to keep hidden is coming to the forefront. Do you see that? Before, it was anti-Semitic for a black man in America to tell a Jew that he's a colonizer, that he's not indigenous to Israel, that is not his indigenous place. That was anti-Semitic. But you know what it is now? It's everyday news. How much money did they take away from Kyrie Irving to tell us what every single media source is now broadcasting and what is now common knowledge? What no genuine journalist or reporter of history would ever deny to say that the Israeli complex is a European experiment facilitated by colonizers to overthrow a particular place and attach European Jews, rightfully so, looking for a place to be safe. Nobody told you. Nobody says that you weren't allowed to be safe. And allowing them not just to have a country, because that's not a problem. No black man, no African diaspora African could say that the homeland, the desire for a homeland, is a bad thing. That's not our argument. Our argument is that we gave. I'm saying we like I was included in that. Let me correct myself. NATO gave the white European control of a land that did not belong to them and allowed them to police it and declare to all of us since 1948 that they alone deserve to be there. That everybody from that place always looked like them. They were allowed to create movies and mythology and write books and paint pictures and speak narratives that made us think that the European was the indigenous Israelite. They made us have so many movies. Thank you, Mel. So many movies of white Jesus. White Jesus, the white Jesus myth, the white Moses myth, the white Samson myth, the mythology of whiteness in an area where whiteness was not a thing, became commonplace in the 20th century and in the 21st century up until now. And the black man in America is still a house Negro for issues that have nothing to do with him. Nothing to do with you, my friend. Nothing to do with you. The unfortunate struggle of those that have heard the call to go and to return back to their homeland as people of color, whether it be the Ethiopian or whether it be the Damonanites who said, I feel Israel in my bones. has still gone back to a colonizer's land. Still gone back to be under the brutal tyranny of individuals who only know death, bloodshed, war, who murder, who kill, who eradicate history. And we now have a front seat of how it's done. A masterclass of the eradicating of a people. You are watching it for yourself. You did not have front seats when the whites eliminated the indigenous black Australian and replaced them and called them self-indigenous. You did not have a front seat for that. You did not have a front seat for when whites eradicated the Indian, so-called Indian, the indigenous North American. You didn't have front seats for that. And replaced that dark, thick-lipped indigenous person with Kimo Sabe, with Tonto, just a little Spanish-looking brother with straight hair. Tonto took his place, and the Lone Ranger and Tonto. They didn't tell you about the Seminoles. They didn't tell you about the Maroons. They didn't tell you that those people kind of look like you. They didn't tell you that. You were always treated like an individual who appeared somewhere in the 1600s. Black History Month is coming up. You Negroes just arrived. They're going to talk about everything you did in America. Oh, let's talk about Black history. The slaves and the slaves. That's not Black history. Black history starts before 1600s. Black history starts before abolition. Harriet Tubman isn't just Black history. Jeez. That's like these young people now, they go back and they say, oh man, let's listen to some old school, and they playing R&B songs from 2010. 2010? That's old school? Boy, if 2010 is old school. 2010, that's old school? Well, yeah, Dad, that's old school. Yeah, it's before you were born, but that's not old school to me. Most of you have never learned Black history in your life. Most of you have never learned Black history in your life. If I ask you to spell Kwame Nkrumah, spell it, you won't be able to spell it. You won't even know, most of you won't even know the country he's from. Right? But you are the American. You are constantly in an experiment to make sure that you never envision yourself as a leader in your country. You are constantly in an experiment to make sure that you don't even value each other. Constantly. They have destroyed the black family equation so perfectly that white people don't need to say anything negative about you at all. You do it yourself. You do it yourself. You do it yourself. White people don't have to. White people are bigger advocates for black people than black people are sometimes. I'm not joking. Black people are bigger advocates for their own annihilation than any white person. Every time I see you Negroes line up behind Trump, every time I hear a black man talk about when Donald Trump was in office, my stocks were doing fantastic. I was doing very well. I don't mind if Donald comes back. When I see you black Republican Uncle Tom jucking and jiving individuals telling me nonsense, I say these Negroes done lost their mind, and it ain't never coming back. It ain't never coming back. You can still be a Christian and say, listen to me, I have nothing to do with the Democratic Party mentality on the murdering of babies, on the pro-LGBTQ agenda, but I will not line up behind white conservative racism that says that it's pro-Christian. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. And you ran and chased. Y'all Negroes chased down Donald like Donald was about to free the slaves, like he was Abraham Lincoln. You black pastors sat there and listened to Donald. Some of y'all chased behind Kanye and his crazy behind wearing his MAGA hat self. Listen, they've given you your leaders. You don't know this? I'm gonna hurt your feelings. If Kanye West hasn't been created by white individuals to create black confusion, I don't know what is. I don't know a more confused Negro than Kanye West. And Kanye West has more loyal followers than Beyonce. That's another one. They created for you to follow. They created her for you. They created Beyonce for you. They created Kanye for you. So that you can just be confused. Running around confused, following a crazy person that they made king. Oh my gosh. One Ye Kanye's a genius. Oh, Ye's a genius. Ye's a genius. Ye is not a genius. Ye should not even have a business. They can't afford for Kanye to go broke. They know that Kanye leads most of you straight to the trough of ambiguity and ignorance of actually real events. They need more Kanyes to do it. They need more. When guys like Nick Cannon are out there trying to actually give you information, you're like, I'm not jumping from Kanye to Nick. But when Nick was trying to give you real information, they blackballed Nick. They tried to take Nick down. They said, Nick, you won't be bringing Inspector. You won't be getting Professor Griff on here. Nope. You won't be doing that. When people actually try to give you information, they're silenced. They're silenced. Quick, fast, in a hurry. Because the narrative, it's only one. There's only one narrative for the African American. Make sure they do not rise up. That's it. That's it. Make sure they do not rise up. We cannot give them the country. They gave you a half-breed president, but they couldn't give you the country because the white guy's he's got nowhere to go. He's got nowhere to go. He can't hand over the level of technology that white America has. They can't hand over the keys to the American military. They can't do it. They can't do it. They can't do it. And they understand how brilliant you are. They understand how intelligent you are. They understand your potential, and they're terrified of it. And I would be too. Who would not be terrified of a person they were bullying for 400 damn years? I've been beating the hell out of this. Oh, I've been raping this woman for 400 years. What you gonna do now? I'm gonna let her cook my food and just release her. You're gonna let her go? Yeah. Let's see what she does. She gonna kill you the first time she get up. No, brother, she ain't gonna kill me, man. She gonna hug me and listen, every black man that they put in jail, and that they released that Negro 20 years later, and the white woman that put him in jail, they asked that man the same question every time. So what do you feel about this woman who put you in jail for 20 years for a crime you didn't commit? You know, I just forgive her. I forgive her. I just hope she does well. And pardon me, I want them to put her in the same cell that they had me in. I want her to feel exactly what I went through. That's what they expect us to say. I want her to have the same level of hell that I went through. Man, I just watched a movie the other day. Yeah, watch this movie. Okay, I'm gonna check your comments in a minute. Aquaman versus Black Manta. Okay? Ha ha! I want you to watch that movie, but don't watch it like they want you to watch it. Watch it like how I want you to watch it. Aquaman, a white man. Black Manta, a brother. Black Manta, Aquaman killed his daddy, right? And Black Manta, all he wants to do is to kill Aquaman, kill everything he loves, destroy Atlantis, destroy his nation. That's all he wants to do. Now, I'm gonna tell you the movie, right? You're gonna have to go see it for yourself because I need you to see it. I need you to see it. Watch this. This is blaxploitation. I was like watching this. It's like, we don't see what's going on here. Listen, Black Manta finds this trident, and he touches this trident, and some ancient being says, I will give you the power to kill Aquaman, to destroy Atlantis. You just have to release me. Release me. Get me out of here, and I will give you the power to destroy him. And so, Black Manta, possessed by this trident, possessed. His eyes turn green. He's possessed with his mentality that he has to overthrow Atlantis. The so-called secret force gives him the knowledge of technology, gives him the understanding of how to fuel, gives him all of the things he needs to overthrow Aquaman and Atlantis. And it gets down to a mortal combat battle between Black Manta and Aquaman. Somewhere along the lines, Aquaman gets a this is Jason Momoa. Jason Momoa gets, he gets a leg up, and Black Manta falls into this precipice, and he's about to fall into oblivion, and he's holding on with one hand. And of course, the benevolence of, great graciousness of whiteness, Jason Momoa gets on his knees and stretches his hand out to save Black Manta. Black Manta, take my hand. Let me save you, Negro. Let me save you from not going into oblivion. And Black Manta, looking up at that man, stretches out his hand to reach, and then says, never, and falls to his death. I celebrated when he didn't take that damn hand. Absolutely. Never will I take your hand. You killed my father. You've killed my ancestors. I will not take your hand. I cheered. I can't lie. Some people looked at it different. I sat back and said, absolutely, Black Manta. I was cheering for Black Manta. Oh, I was cheering for I was like, yeah, Black Manta, take over the whole space. Take over the whole space, Black Manta. They have created a mentality of the evil Black Manta who will take over, and his reign will be evil, but our reign will be benevolent. You've got to watch that movie. Watch it from the perspective that they're trying to brainwash us, and that will be a whole different scenario. Aquaman versus Black Manta. It's a brand new movie. I watched it on my Android box. But this is the mentality of America, that if you try to rise up, Black man, and you try to control, you're evil. You're evil, Black Manta. Why won't you let us help you? How can I let you help me when I know that your truest agenda is genocide, is annihilation, when the blood of my fathers is on the tip of your trident? How can I permit you to help me? How can I enjoy you when I know that you have elevated yourself from off of my blood? How can I allow that? How is that reciprocity? Where is the justice? Wouldn't it be more expedient for me to say, or for you to say, you know what? We've done you a great harm. And we have no capacity to repay you. All we can say is, this land is yours. Take it, and we will go. That's really the only reciprocity that ends without bloodshed. That's the only thing that I think. And going back to Israel and Gaza, Will the Israeli walk into Gaza and say, Gazians, Gazarites, whatever they want to call themselves? We realize that we've had an occupation here that's created a lot of animosity between us. And we don't like what took place on October 7th, but we can't just keep killing y'all. We can't just keep killing all of y'all. It's not good. We're upset, rightly so. You got some hostages. We're going to ask you to release the hostages, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to get out of your land. We're going to let you just occupy the Gaza Strip. We're going to set up some defensive mechanisms to make sure that there's a big wall, there's a big divide between you and me, like America and Mexico. We're going to have some kind of levels of treaties, but we realize that we've usurped your land and we need to get out of it. Right? Wouldn't that be what civilized people do? Aren't we at a civilized time? Aren't we operating in our higher level of angels? This is not the Middle Ages. Is that going to happen? Tell me what's going to happen. We've gone back to the days of warlords. We will wipe you out. You will no longer exist. We will destroy everything. We will destroy children, women, men, and make sure that your memory does not exist in this place. We will de-radicalize you. We will destroy the military underground complexes that you have created, and we will wipe this place clean of you. That's what Israel's doing. That's what Israel's doing. But when it comes to me, and it's my turn to say I want my land back, I want my independence, I want my dignity back. Why the hell should any black man in America pay taxes? Why in the hell should a child of slaves pay income tax to that oppressive regime that has blood on its hands, that never given us a single cent of reparations? Why should they pay any tax whatsoever? The Jew is still getting reparations from Germany. The Jew declares his taxation country in Israel. He doesn't pay tax in America. You didn't know that, eh? You know you can do that? If you are the resident of two places, right? This is information for a lot of you. This is stuff that they don't tell you, black people, because you're property, you're chattel of North America. But to those that are really free, they're saying, well, you know, since you got an Israeli passport, you essentially can elect to pay taxes in America or pay taxes in Israel. And well, guess what? Those Israel taxes are way lower. So even the Jew, he doesn't pay tax in America. Right? You do. You do. Imagine. They told the native Indian, you don't need a passport to move throughout here. This is your land. They told the native Indian, right? You can't call him an Indian no more. I call him an Indian. I don't know what else to call him. You know what? You don't have to pay taxes if you stay on the reservation. But they didn't give you a reservation. They moved you from property to taxpayer. They kept you at the lowest threshold of income. They did not give you access to true wealth and prosperity. And what they did is they dangled in front of you some of the Uncle Toms that they raised up, the 10th of a 10%. They gave them enough money so that you would just have pursuits of athleticism, pursuits of being a rapper, pursuits of being a comic. They don't want you to pursue government office. They don't want you to pursue those things. Let them desire to be wealthy, just to have money, right? Pursue that. Pursue money, not position. We don't care if they're rich. We care if they're policymakers. I don't give a damn how many black men have money. All they're going to do is fill their mouths full of gold teeth I don't care how rich they are. They're just going to put gold chains on their necks. They're just gonna make their women have bigger behinds and bigger breasts. They're still be in strip joints. Riches is not gonna change them. They're still gonna be at Puffy's party backing that thing up. Money won't. We should never be afraid that the black man is wealthy. We need to be afraid that the black man desires to control his life. Let me read what you wrote here. Let me read what you wrote here. They let that devil in the pulpit. Jim Crow is still here, my friends. You're still experiencing Jim Crow. Our history is the Bible. The Bible is a black man's history book. Absolutely. And more. And more. Black magnificence. I agree. I think I saw one more comment. Yeah. Talking about the pulpit. Listen, look at this situation. Look at how this dismantling of the black civilization works, right? Of course, we know, I talked about it, the black family doesn't exist anymore. There's no such thing as a black family. There really isn't. There's no such thing as a black family. They want y'all to be thruples. They want all kind of stuff. Black people, you're so lost when it comes to family. Like, you can't even, black men and black women don't even get along anymore. Like, they don't have the capacity to get along. They're training you to be, what's the word? Incompatible. They're training black boys and black girls to simply grow up to be completely incompatible. But look at this, the pulpit. The pulpit used to be the place where the black man would come and sit down and gain understanding of how to organize themselves to be a community, to gain political power, to aspire to control their tax dollars, to change laws. The pulpit, that intelligent preacher, whether he was a Muslim or whether he was a Christian, his entire agenda was having the articulation to preach to you on Sunday morning and speak to the world on NBC or ABC News with competency to cause people to say, hey, this guy's fantastic. This guy knows what he's saying. This guy's quite an intelligent man. Are those the kind of preachers you have now? I'm gonna be honest. Are those the kind of preachers you have now? You can name, you can count them on one hand. Most of your Pentecostal holiness preachers don't know nothing about politics. They're inarticulate. They are not well read. They are not intellects. They are not lecturers. They are not revolutionaries. See what they did? See what they did? Your preacher is not a revolutionary. Your preacher, he's either about money or he's about just good old-fashioned golden rule values. Wants to keep his head down and just be a good boy, wants you to be good. Just praise the Lord, sister. They are not aspiring on political ramifications. They're not doing that. They don't want politics in the pulpit, period. Because when they killed King, they made you Negroes afraid to die. How do you make a Christian whose savior came to die, who the first men that followed him said, I am so happy that we can be beaten, that we can be flogged for the cause of Christ. I am so happy that I'm being crucified like Christ. Don't crucify me the same way Peter said. Crucify me upside down. I'm not worthy. I want to die for the cause. How can we take men that started like that to be Negroes that are afraid to die? Martin Luther King went to jail 29 times. Your preacher hasn't got a parking ticket. 29 times he went to jail. 29 times. No, your preacher go to jail now. That's a scandal the church bring. Oh, they arrested pastor. What did he do? What did he do? Oh my goodness, I can't go back to that church. I can't go to that church. Well, he was actually protesting at City Hall. Well, what is he? What? No. I can't have. I don't want that around my children. No. He went to jail 29 times. Your preacher barely got a parking ticket. If your preacher got any kind of you can't even testify in church no more. You can't testify and tell people what you've been through no more. They'd be like, did you hear that deacon went to jail? Oh, did he really? How come we didn't know this before we made him a deacon? Listen, the church used to be the place where you came to organize in order that you could go out and be a community. That's not what it is anymore. Preachers are competing against each other now. Preachers, oh, well, you leave my church, you're going to go over to that devil church across the street. That devil church across the street, yep. The devil church across the street, they're the same denomination as you. Oh, yeah, but they don't preach it like we do. They're not like us. Those people are different over there. Tribalism in church, tribalism in community, tribalism in rap music, tribalism in sports, tribalism in politics. The white man understands you. How do you think he got you to sell your brothers to him? Oh, you don't need that young man here causing any trouble. What's he here doing? Oh, he's one of the rivals. We took him hostage and now he just serves him. Oh, that's what y'all do? Y'all take each other hostage? Okay. So that's how y'all fight. Okay. When Europe was saying, listen, I want to make sure that we don't fight. The King of France, he's going to send his child to Italy and say, listen, you marry, your Italian son marries my daughter. Now we're family. Now we can't fight. You Scots, come on over here, and I want you in Belgium. And they made sure that they were all family so that they wouldn't fight each other because you'd be killing your own grandchildren. Not you Negroes. They kept y'all divided. Black people, even today, will divide over anything. A street. You will divide over a street. Oh, those guys, that's the West Side, man. Those are West Side boys. Yeah, man, those are the West Side boys. We don't play with them. We don't mess with them over here. Negroes will divide over a street. Fighting over everything. As much as Cat Williams made me laugh and opened up, and I said it. I'm not turning my words around. It made me understand how black people were so divided, because if they can make comedians feud, what the hell are funny men feuding about? They got comedian. The American black person cannot sit back and think this is coincidental. You can't think it's coincidental. You have to realize certain things are anthropology, sociology, that you have been conditioned to not like your brothers. You have been conditioned to live in a microcosm that does not connect to the greater level of politics. If I can make sure you're having gang wars, if I can make sure that you're just focused on basketball, football, track and field, and other things, and if I can just make sure that your idea of come up is rapping about things that speak to the negativity of your own culture. If I can make you a buffoon, and instead of having to pin a criminal record on you, I just got to make you be an individual that says, I want to put a tattoo in my face. Well, good. Once they got a tattoo on their face, we know exactly who they are. We don't need to criminalize them. We know we ain't hiring him with a tattoo on his face. He don't even have to apply it. He got a tattoo on his neck, on his face, on his lip, inside of his lip. He know he ain't coming here getting no job. He ain't coming over here. He knows that already. And those brothers who do that have told the world, oh, I give up. I don't want to be part of the mainstream. I don't want to be part of anything like that. I'm going to do my own thing. I'm telling you right now. I'm showing you. I'm going to get my tattoo on my face when I'm 15 years old to let you know I never want to be part of mainstream anything. Mainstream says, thank you. That's exactly what we wanted you to do. You stay focused on what you stay focused on. Focus on your block. Focus on making your paper. Make your paper. We don't care. We don't care. We're going to arrest you a couple times so you can't really vote. We're going to make sure that you can't really, in case you change your mind later on. But black men in America, you can't be focused on Gaza. You can't be worried about Israel. You've got to leave that to South Africa and Namibia. You've got to sit down and say, you know what? Let me hear what my brothers are saying, because they have a house. These are the men who are speaking from a place where they have a nation. And one day we need to have one too, so we can have a real voice. African American. The African American, I'm going to speak to you collectively. If you had an issue with any nation, how would you present yourself to the International Criminal Court of Justice? How would you get there? And who would you be? Who would you represent? How would your agenda be taken to a platform like that? You are 45 million intelligent, brilliant, gifted people with no voice on an international level. No voice. You have no one voice. You have no platform to say, this, thus saith us. The Republican and Democratic Party will never be your voice. Never be your voice. The greatest deception that has ever been perpetrated against you is to tell you that you're a part of America, but to keep you voiceless. Think about it. You could never stand up and say, as a people, we have decided that we have an issue with this country and we would like for the world to hold them accountable. You have no voice. You couldn't even complain about America. Couldn't. The only thing that you can do as a nation is for 45 million of you to get up and say, we no longer will participate in this America. We no longer will participate. The house that we live in is ours. We will not pay another penny for it. We will not subjugate ourselves to anything that you are doing. We declare right now that everything here is ours. We will take it as we see fit. We run this place, and this place is ours. And you can do it in a situation, I've said it before, where you say, all of us are coming to Texas. And we are acquiring Texas, we're acquiring California, whatever you do, and say, now we have declared, we're migrating, we're bringing all of our little ones, all of our children, we are exodusing out of the highways and the byways, out of the ghettos, and we are settling in one place, and we declare, this is ours. You can do that. It's been done before. You know that? You didn't know that? You want to know where it's been done before? Uganda, where Idi Amin said, this country is ours. All of you foreigners, get out. We're keeping all your money, we're keeping all your stuff, we're keeping everything because it's ours. And all of you have to leave. This is our place. We no longer will participate in the systematic colonization and the oppression of our people from within. Idi Amin recognized this. He says none of those people paid a cent of taxes in Uganda, but benefited out of Uganda. The African American pays taxes from America, but does not benefit in having an international voice that allows for policies to be made on your behalf as a macro people in America. The Israeli has a homeland. The Italian has a homeland. The Greek has a homeland. Your homeland is now America, because you can't go back to Africa. You've tried. You've tried. Some have gone back to Israel. Some have gone back to Africa. You've tried. Now you've got to say, here, my My dead are here. Because in order for you to really leave America, to really do it like truly like Israel exodus Egypt, is you need to pick up the bones of your Jacob and take it with you. But I'm telling you right now, it's time for you to say, you know what? This place is ours. We declare independence. We declare an independent union, an independent state, an independent idea, an independent life for us. And guess what? In our small African American union, we will figure it out. We will figure it out like Congo figured it out. We will figure it out like Uganda figured it out. We will figure it out like Ghana figured it out. Because the longer and longer and longer and longer and longer you stay unpatriated to a homeland, is the more you become lost in the irrelevance of what you used to be. You were a great people, but now you're something else. You're something different. You're something that can't go back to Africa. You're something that can't even stay as you are in America. You are something different, and you are something that cannot be a voice to other individuals who are going through what you have gone through, because you have not positioned yourself to even be a help, not even to yourself. I love you. That's why I say it to you. I say it to you because I'm sitting here waiting. And in my closing statement, somebody asked me the other day, he said, Del, what would you like to see happen in Canada? I said, I'd like to see the Islamic rule wipe out, take over Canada. I'm a Christian, remember? They said, well, what? I would like to see Islamic rule take over Canada. People couldn't believe what I said. What was I truly saying? What was I getting to? Because I'm looking for a time and a place and a standard where, as a man, I can be a man. Where there is some system of government that says, you know what? We allow men to be men. We allow the family to be the family. We allow right to be right and wrong to be wrong. And yes, in every place you can go and pay enough money to get any kind of deviant thing happening. But truly, the freedoms of the West is chaos. That's what the West affords you. The chaos of not having to be accountable. The absenteeism of righteousness, which is the absenteeism of the nuclear family. The man is nothing, the woman is nothing, and the child is nothing. And we are becoming quicker and faster than any other place in the world. We are becoming a community of nothing, of genderless. We can't identify ourselves in any particular way. We have given our children more rights than we have. We don't even have the right to be a family. And a man doesn't even have the right to be a man. And the only place that I see, and I see it from a distance, granted I see it from a distance, but Islamic states actually allow families to be families. And is it perfect? It's absolutely not perfect. But it's better than I see right here. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. This is Del K. Brereton. This is the Shiloh Institute. This is the real spiel. I'm praying for my people everywhere. And I'll talk to you all soon.